Let's get right into it. Road Trip is an amazing travel documentary, but it's even deeper than that. It's a bonding show as well. How did you find it? How did you come up with the idea for it?
Well, we thought years ago that it would be great to go and return to some of these countries that I reported about as a war correspondent, and not just to see them for myself or show it to the rest of the world, but also to show it personally to my son because, he watched this on television, assuming that his father's going to dangerous places, but he doesn't quite understand why that's important. Now he's 29 years old. He knows it all. And in fact, he knows a lot more than I do. But I just want to make sure that he and the world has a different perspective on these countries. They're not just cliche war zones. They are countries that have a culture, groups of people, and places that are just stunningly beautiful.
Mac, you are a videographer and photographer in your own right. Capturing places like this has got to be a dream come true.
You said it. I mean, when I got that call and asked to join this show, it was the fastest yes I've ever said to anything in my life. So it was a true honor to be able to go to these six corners of the earth, especially with my dad, who, probably shouldn't be alive at this point. So to spend any time with him at all has been really, really amazing.
Bob, how do you decide on what countries, what places to visit?
Well, they had to pass the test of being a rogue nation, which means it's either it was at least sometime dangerous or torn apart by some kind of politics, or it's a place that's so remote and far away people don't generally go to vacation there. So we had a list of those. Then we had to go to the next step, which was to get the visas to get in, and that's not always easy to do for journalists. So the ones that were rogue and they allowed us in, those are the ones that became the six countries that we visited.
We chose well.
As a floundering chef myself, I mean, what foods surprised you most?
Well, in the first episode, you'll see I eat a grub from the Amazon rainforest, which I wouldn't really recommend for viewers at home, but I would say it was a surprising food to answer your question. But I think the food that I enjoyed the most was the Lebanese food. I'm a huge hummus fan, and the cuisine there is just spectacular.
Pakistani food is fantastic too. All of it's good. We got some really insight into the Ethiopian food too, which was beautiful.
Mac, on this rogue trip that you took, what did you learn about your father that you didn't know?
Well, I think I grew up. Yeah, he can sleep pretty much anywhere. Is the first thing that I learned. He can sleep in the back of a car, in the back of a plane, in a canoe under the baking sun.
It's a gift.
But I think what I really learned about him, truthfully, was just what goes into making these stories that I've been seeing him produce on the nightly news for decades, and to be able to witness his work ethic firsthand. Waking up at sunrise and going to bed after midnight and doing it all over again on repeat for 4.5 months is incredible stamina that I don't have and that he somehow still has at 59.
Bob, I got to ask you this question because of your years with ABC and in the news. How do you think news has changed over the last few years?
We got so many places to get information from. As you know, that's not a secret. Everything from social media to streaming. So in the old days, we had just a couple places where you could get the information. Now it's very deep and complicated. So it's, as you know, as anybody else, it's changing fast.
I do. I grew up in the news myself. I'm an ABC man myself. If they haven't told you that, I think you're right. I think collecting the news and getting sources. I don't know if that still happens quite as much.
Yeah, there's that, but there's more you can find out there. And I think sometimes tell people in the old days we knew exactly where to find the really legitimate, fantastic, well-told stories. But now you just have to search differently. There's more out there, but it's just not a very identifiable spot.
In our final seconds together, I'm going to re-ask the question to you. What did you learn from your son, Bob?
Oh, I learned a lot of good things. Listen, you've got a kid that was 5 and 8 and 12 years old and 18 years old, and now you get one that's 29 years old. You learn a lot more. You see, for the first time we worked as colleagues, he's got the same kind of love of travel and storytelling, which I didn't really know before. I know how good he is at shooting now. I know that he loves to buy shoes. So there's a lot of strange things that I learned. He learned a lot of bad things about me. So tune in and you can see.
I didn't hear any bad things.
And that's a great segue.
Yep, Rogue Trip on Disney Plus premieres on July 24th, which is this Friday.
It's a pleasure to talk with you. It's a pleasure to catch up with you and finally meet you, even though it's virtual. So have a great day, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it.
This celebrity interview is sponsored by...
I'm Annette Civarella with Pia Anderson Moss Hoyt, Utah's leading entertainment law firm, serving clients nationwide. We provide solid, attentive representation focusing on minimizing risk, reducing cost, and protecting the reputation and privacy of our clients. Our goal is to provide you with the legal representation you need to make the right decisions and to protect you and your creative works. Call or email me for a free consultation.